Let's go on a journey back in time, all the way to August 15th, 1947. I know we have grand images of that day, birth of a great nation, defiance against imperialism, and the awakening of an ancient civilization. But the reality was very different. The country had been dismembered. Communal riots had broken out in many parts. The economy was drained, and confusion gripped the people. We had freedom, but our future was uncertain. Things could have gone either way. A lot of countries gained independence in the second half of the 20th century, but not all of them succeeded. Just look at our neighbor Pakistan, a failed military state. That's what many pundits predicted for India too. Darkness, chaos, and failure. That was a prediction for India. I have some examples. This is what Winston Churchill had to say.
Power will go to the hands of rascals, rogues, freebooters. All Indian leaders will be of low caliber and men of straw. They will fight amongst themselves for power, and India will be lost in political squabbles.
Churchill also questioned India's unity. He said, India is no more united than the equator. I wish he was alive today to see riots tearing his united kingdom apart, to see its economy tanking, and to see its musical chair of prime ministers. I wonder what this so-called great man would have said. In America, the opinion was the same. Harry Truman was president back then. Listen to what he said.
I thought India was pretty jammed with poor people and cows wandering around the streets, witch doctors, and people sitting on hot coals and bathing in the Ganges, but I did not realize that anybody thought it was important.
How the times change. Today, America calls India its natural partner. The truth is, nobody expected us to survive, certainly not our democracy. Well, status update. India is now the largest democracy in the world. It has held 18 nationwide elections, all of them ending in peaceful transfers of power. Can't say the same about America, though. All these statements boil down to the same problem: racism. The West couldn't believe that a non-white democracy was even possible, let alone that it could have logical policies. Take non-alignment, for instance. India refused to take sides during the Cold War. Again, Washington was enraged. Their top diplomats called it immoral and evil, a sign of weakness and lack of foresight. That's what they called it. Well, let's cut to 2024. We don't call it non-alignment anymore. We call it strategic autonomy, but the spirit remains the same: putting your interests over camp politics. And everyone is talking about it now. The EU wants strategic autonomy. France wants strategic autonomy. Brazil, Japan, Turkey, all of them want strategic autonomy. So much for lacking foresight. But India was not demoralized by this criticism. Our leaders put their head down, and brick by brick, they built a new country. In 1947, India was supposed to be a basket case. Today, it's the next big thing, a world power in the making. Just look at some of the key indicators. In 1947, India's life expectancy was 32 years. Today, it is more than 70 years. Literacy was less than 20% in 1947. Today, it is more than 77%. India's share of the global GDP was just 3% in 1947. It is now almost 10%. We had just 20 universities at the time of independence. Today, there are more than 1,100. Look at foreign exchange reserves. We had just $1.8 billion in 1950. Today, we have almost $650 billion. $650 billion. It's one of the largest forex stocks in the world. Same with food grains. Until the 1960s, India faced food shortages. We had to import food from other countries, but today we are self-sufficient. We are the largest exporter of rice in the world. Of course, this journey was not linear. We had moments of doubt. We had challenges, like the 1962 war against China, a war that we lost. Or the economic crisis in the 1990s, when we had to be bailed out by the IMF. A lot of countries may have lost their way in those moments, but India did not give up. We learned from those mistakes. In the 1970s, India tested its own nuclear bomb, thus establishing security and deterrence. In the 1990s, we liberalized our economy, thus avoiding future economic crises. For any young country out there, this is a lesson, a roadmap to follow. India did not succeed because of global help. We succeeded despite the lack of it. Every Indian leader, every policymaker deserves credit for all of this, for ensuring progress, for modernizing our society, and for preserving democracy. Are we perfect? Of course not. No democracy is perfect. But the question is, do you have the tools to make a perfect democracy? In India, the answer is yes. So tonight, let's celebrate the greatest underdog story, where willpower trumped odds and hardships forged unity.
Across continents, one powerful news source.
Bringing you diverse perspectives on the issues that matter.
We go beyond the boundaries to give you that little extra about every sporting moment.
So thank you for making First Post 5 million strong. We're counting on your support, and you can trust us to bring you the news unfiltered and unvarnished.
Climate change is on our doorstep. It's time for a revolution to take root. And it starts with 1.4 billion Indians. It starts with one tree for humanity, one tree for Mother Earth, one tree for our future. Project One Tree, a News 18 network initiative.
On the today, the T20 World Cup bandwagon has moved across to the West Indies. What can you expect from this?
Hello, I'm Alison Green, coming to you from Durban, South Africa. Today we have a special
Start with a report on India's shifting nuclear posture. For the first time since India officially became a nuclear power.
Hello and welcome to First Post America. I'm Aaron Ham, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Washington, D.C.